So let's start this shiur. Hopefully what's going to happen today is we're going to finish off Shaar Haigulim. Then we're going to go to the next Shaar. So if this Shaar has been a little bit easy, then you have an idea how easy everything is. So we're going to be very simple Hebrew, no problems. See what's going to happen, and let's finish up the Shaar. Now on page Zion, if you're following in your text, we had read the top line in the Rav. I don't know if I'm doing this the right way. I could forget. I start doing it up above and down below and so on and so forth. Let's look at number Yud Tes, and he says, Da, kibizel chalo nimsa, or it could be na'atzal, zeha'ada v'nikra kadma. So into the Hallel, the first thing that we could see, if it was possible to look at something like this, would be this Ak, this Adam Kadmon. He's called Nikra Kadmon, they're called a Kodmin Keniskar, like as we said before. V'yeshba Metzias as a spheros, it also exists with 10 spheros. V'chim Mamaleo says, Kal Halu Hazah, and they fill all of this Hallel. Now let's start here. We're going to go here first. We're going to read number Kaf. There's a little note that I want to get to, and also the picture, which is on the next page. So number Kaf says, V'amnam Dechilo, Yatzer Eses Sfirosa, V'derek Haigulim, Elu Toch Elu. Now I think that he's talking about Ak. Originally, he starts coming out in making balls. Let's see exactly what he means. V'achar Kach B'socha Haigulim, and then within the midst of the Haigulim, Nimshach derek kava yosher tzir adam echad be'eses spheros be'orech kol haigulim and izkarim b'tzir razeh, and now we have this drawing. So first of all, the line started out, or just it was an entrance of the light of the Ein Sof, this chut, and it started making balls, and the balls proceeded. But as the balls proceeded, a line came in. They started developing in a straight line, but balls coming out in a line, like on a rope that has balloons on it in some strange way. But we have to look at how this actually works. There's a tremendous, tremendous contradiction to me in the drawing that he has here. And that's what I wanted to get to. Now, there was a bracket with the number Vav in it, and I want to come to that. So let me finish off what he says in number Kaf. So number Kaf, ve'ein ana oskim klal b'Haigulim, but we don't deal at all with the Haigulim, even though this very first Shaar talks about Haigulim, but we don't deal with Haigulim at all. Rak be'bechinas yosher b'lvad, we only deal with the concept of yosher. V'holah nivar metzias of Haigulim, later on we're going to describe the reality of these Haigulim, v'hayosher ma'anyanim, what is the relationship between the two. Now let's look at this number 6 down below, or this number Vav. So he says, B'tocha Haigulim nimshach derek kav hayosher. So in the midst of these balls, we said that as it starts, as the line of this kav of the Ein Sof enters, then we start developing these balls. And we're going to look at the drawing in a minute and try to understand what's going on here. Okay, because this drawing, to me, is the most complicated drawing that you could possibly have, because to me there's an aspect of it which is such a contradiction that I can't figure it out. I have my own explanation, but you know. Now we're down the bottom of the page in the Shaar Haigulim, and it says, Ki b'kol prat u'prat yesh haigulim v'yosher k'nizkar. Every detail of this, of reality, the reality in the Chalal, has two different parts. It has balls, and it also has a straight line. Shehein beis bechinos, and this is what I want to point out. And that's why I've been saying the idea that you have a male-female concept here, which we'll see it a lot more in much greater detail when we get into other places. Ki b'kol prat prat yesh haigulim v'yosher k'nizkar shehein beis bechinos, which are called nefesh and ruach. So he explains that we need to know those two ideas. In other places in Kabbalah, they're called neir, which is the word candle. Neir means nefesh ruach. So the first thing is that the lower level is created, which is the nefesh part. The nefesh part is the first part, and it's in a ball shape. Then there's a higher level, and we will get to this in detail. There's a higher level which is called which is Madrigal Yonder Shu Bechinas Yosher, Sheshover has Bechinas Agulim, it breaks through the Igulim, but Niknas Basocho, and it goes into them. So as we go through it, we're going to go through this in great detail with the Otzrot Chaim. It goes on and on and on about this. Barucha Eza Medrega Nivra Mekoidim Ayin Sham. Which one came first? It's like the Nefesh came first, or the Ruach came first. Which one came first? So let's look at the drawing, and that's the part that I wanted to go to. So if you look at the drawing, at the top of the drawing, you see the entrance of light into the Chalal. And you see there that there's, in the middle of this line, there is that's the chut of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. Now there is actually, if you know how you configure it, is that, let's say there's 3 lines there. There's one on the right, one on the left, and one in the middle. So that's just the way he drew it. But the one in the middle is the chut of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. Now look at the first ball. The first ball is called Keser, which he mentioned before has 10 balls within it. Exactly how they line up, I'm not sure over in the Otzrot Chaim. Once again, like I say, they go into different possibilities of where this could be. But if you look at the top of the ball, where the light comes in, and you look at the bottom of the ball, you see it's the same ball. That the ball of Keser is not only at the top, but it's at the bottom as well. Right? It's the most bottom part. We only know that there's the top and the bottom because there's an entrance and then it stops. And where it stops called the bottom. That's a creation up and down. But on the other hand, the Keser goes all the way underneath the down part. Now, again, Otzrot Chaim, it goes into what part of the Keser, because the Keser has 10 spheros in it. And then Keser is also divided into Atik and Erik Anpin. So different kinds of divisions that you could go through, and you could look at this. Then you go to the next one that's inside of the Keser, and we have a principle, he just mentioned it, that the line breaks through the Keser ball, and it goes into the Chachma ball. Okay, and then it breaks through that, goes to the Bina balls, and goes to the Chesed ball, and it goes all the way into the middle until it gets to the Malchus ball. Now, what we're saying is, like what we've been saying is that as the line proceeds, the balls develop out from it, and they keep getting smaller and smaller. Now, they're balls, right? So you have to think about a 3-dimensional ball. It's not an easy thing to think about with balls inside of it, and you have a line coming in from the top going through it. The problem is that if you get into Malchus, once you get into Malchus is an infinite number of balls inside of the Malchus. And as the line proceeds further and further deeper into the Malchus, it makes more and more balls. Now the stira is the way I see it, and you could see if you can understand what I'm trying to say, because it's not easy for me to say this, is that the line, not only does it go through the top of the Malchus, let's say Malchus, right, but it goes through the bottom of Malchus, because it's a line. And so subsequently it winds up going all the way down to the bottom wherever the bottom is, where the line stops, which would be the feet of Ak. We're trying to get to that as we're going on. But how could it be doing that if it's going into the Malchus? Because these balls are going inwards, and it's breaking through them. And if it breaks through the top, it also breaks through the bottom. So it's not going inward, right? It's going up and down. Inward is, let's say, a different direction. How could it do both? That's my question. So anybody has any answers to that, or if you have questions about what my question is, because it's very difficult for me to see, but you can see in this picture that if the balls, as the line proceeds, the balls keep getting smaller and smaller one inside the next, and then the line breaks through all of them, keeps going on the other side, and then you wind up in the Keser on the bottom side with all the rest of the balls there. But then how are you creating more in the inside? Are you creating more in the Malchus? That's my question. So let's go on and let's look at number 21. I think we did, or excuse me, we're going to the Tiv now. And let's just read the light print in the Tiv because I'd like to finish this Shaar. Okay, to me, that was the most difficult part. And I see that my video is bouncing a little bit, so I'll try not to bounce. I don't have the world's greatest setup here. It's temporary. So let's look at the light print on number Kaf on page Zion in the Tiv Achayim. It says, Bechinas Ak kolela shtei bechinos shehem igulim b'yosher. So when we talk about Ak, there is an Ak of balls. The emotion is bar lamalo sevi yitzias or mechut ein sof b'derek yosher b'shel igulim v'yosher. So now we understand is that the chut is going, and as it's moving along, it's creating two different aspects. One's are balls, and one is lines. So we are like this. When the malchus of the gulim stops, the gulim the chut or ein sof. When we said ba'ofen shala'achar shenistayim malchus the gulim the chut or ein sof. So the malchus when it stops, there's no guarantee that it stops in any place whatsoever. But after it stops, and because the line is creating as it's going deeper into the ball, it's creating more and more balls. Maskil eagle kesser the ak, so the kesser starts on the other side. As it goes all the way through, then it reaches the kesser on the other side. And as they're going through all the igulim, niknas b'derek yosher, so it's going straight all the way through. But it's so complicated to figure out how you can make a straight line, something which is just a line, and have it detail in all of these different balls which are going in a different dimension, a different direction altogether, because they're going in more in circular direction, and this is going straight, and they're going deep and outwards. They're going out and deep, and this is going from the top to the bottom. It's different. But we're only going to deal with straight line. That's all we're going to deal with for the reason that we said before. So all that the Kabbalah that we know only deals with this. Let's do Kaf Aleph. We'll do Kaf Aleph up on the top. So through this Simpson that we've talked about, which created this ball. So as we're making this man that we mentioned, so we have two different ideas here. Now, atzmos, most of the time when he uses it, it kind of means the word essence, but he substitutes the word light for this. So we have atzmos, and we have vessels that the light resides within. Because as what's happening is that a vessel, which is now this hollow, but we're going to get more, we're going to start talking about the balls, and we're going to start talking more about light. But as you constrict the light, it makes a vessel that holds light, because it's more physical. Just like you have, as you could say later on, he says that you have, say, a pot, and the pot is more physical than the water or the wine that you put inside of it. It's a creation that holds something. So automatically, as you created Tzimtzum, you're making something more physical that can hold something which is more spiritual. So that's what he says over here. So he said, I'll start again. So now you have light and vessels. Because if you contract the light, you make something more physical. So we're going to get more into that idea. So more than that, we don't have permission to talk about. So what's in between the Simsum and exactly how it works? So if you're clever, or you have a good mind, you put your mind to it, you'll understand what causes what ultimately was the beginning of it from what we see at the end of it. So we are going to get more into this with other drushim that are coming before us. Now let's try to understand something he says. This Adon Kadmon, which holds the light of the Ein Sof within it as a result of the Tzimtzum that we're not going to talk about, that Tzimtzum that created Ak is not a real Kli. It's not something physical at all. So Amnam Enu Kli Mamish, Elisha Be'erech HaOr, and this is a concept in Kabbalah also, everything is an Erechim. So that means Erechim means relative or relationship. So whatever you're talking about, because you're talking about something that's not physical, so it could be this way or that way. It depends on how it's used and what its application is, or how the Eibishter, the Ma'atzel, is making this work. So he said, Einu kli mamash, ela shebe'erech ha'or shebesocho nikra kli. But if you say that it is physical in relationship to what's inside of it, that's erech. Amnam hu zach ubahir. So the truth is that is really, really fine. Almost nothing, not nothing, almost nothing. It holds nothing within it and shines like crazy. Bahir. Batata is a behiro, so ultimately extremely, extremely bright. So it has all this tremendous refinement. This is like nothing, and so tremendous purity. So let's look at number Kaf Aleph in the light print. The light print says Kan Nirmez Simsim Nosif. So now we're going to talk, and he's going to mention that there's another Simsim than rather the original one which created the Challah. Or Ein-Sof, because Ak is actually, relatively speaking, a Kli, because it holds the light of the Ein-Sof within it. So we understand that wherever the creation of Kalim, that is an entity that holds a more refined, let's say, light, all of that can only come about through a Tzimtzum. So he said, Rav Shaharav lo hizker kan Simsim zeh, but he doesn't mention at all the Simsim that caused Ak to develop around the chut of the Ein-Sof. Because he didn't want to talk about what was Pnimi to Ak, what came before Ak. He doesn't want to talk about that. Shuhu HaChut HaNizkar, which is this chut, which is infinity, again, endlessness. U'kamotion is bar la'el, as we explained. V'ata levar harav is inyan Ak atzmo, shuhu kolu bebechinas atzmo, so bechinas kelim. So now let's talk about Ak himself. He is incorporated in two bechinas. One is atzmos, and again I said that use of the word atzmos usually means light. So he has light, he has one quality within inside of himself, he has light, and another quality is that he is kelim, that it's something physical that holds the light. That is, the kelim mean they are a lavush, a clothing, and that is what Ak is. V'ha'atzmos he or Ein Sof benimi. So the atzmos is what? Is the light of the Ein Sof, which is benimi to Ak. Hamislavish b'sochel, which is clothed inside of him. Shal zeh ha'ak. So he said v'haim shal or mislavish b'sochel kli. So we see that the light is clothed now. We have the concept of light inside of a kli. Kamal shal hamashama. So we have a similar idea by us. And the neshama hanis laveshet b'tzal chaguf, which is clothed inside of the body. Machmas godel romal also shalchut or Ein Sof, and because of the great level of light and perfection of the chut of the light of Ein Sof, so he doesn't want to talk about it. How exactly we came from endlessness. And we had then a kli that surrounded it. He doesn't want to talk about it. So amnam amaskil yizbonid b'prakim aboim. So, but you'll be able to see as we go in, and we'll talk about more tzimtzumim. Shesham nizbar inyan hischavos hakelim ayedei tzimtzumim. So there we will see how kelim get developed through different kinds of constrictions of light. So he said, Acherim, other ones. So Mazel Yakish as Rashis as Havels Akelim the Ak. So from them, you can get an idea how it began, that the process of making an Ak, the Kelim of Ak, the Ak. V'zos Yuvun v'remiza inyan the Tzimtzum b'chut or Ein Sof Shagarim his Havels Akelim the Ak. So then we'll see how it is that it's possible that Tzimtzumim come out. So let's go to number Kaf Bet. Where is Kaf Bet? It's still here. We'll read the light print again. So Zeh should be Arnu Sheyesh Ba'ak B'chinas Or V'Kli. So what we said is these two concepts within it. Eina Kavana Sheyesh Sham Kli Mamash. He wants to say this again. We don't want to say that this is actually a Kli. Ki B'chinas Kli Haina Hushahu Davar Av. So what's the aspect of the Kli? There's some thickness to it. So here we have a concept of thin and thick. So it has some thickness to it. Shaar Haigulim or misava. So we have this idea, like as the light thickened, and we will be talking about this more. As the light thickens, hu nikwa kli be'erik la'atzmos or. So it's considered to be then a vessel in relationship to the essence of the light itself, of the Ein Sof. V'nitin lahasigo, so therefore, as a result of its thickness, we have some ability to be able to appreciate it or reach it mentally. So we can have an idea of what it is. U'b'ak ain't obvious, but in ak there's really no thickness. Amnam al-kli haniska v'ak, but when we say a kli in regards to ak, zah kli hu behir ad ma'od, so that's what you ad ma'od, so he's something that is so unbelievably bright, and so completely full of the light of the Ein Sof, but it's not quite the light of the Ein Sof, it's a covering to it. So he says, V'hu lamalam hasagaseinu, to really understand the nature of this, we only have ability to be able to point at it, so to speak, but to really be able to understand it and the light in it, impossible. So when we use the word kli to talk about ak, so he repeated again the words of the Rav. So now we're going to read this paragraph on the top, and this is going to be the concluding paragraph in this Shaar. So he said, V'hina Adam Kadma Dezeh, this Adam Kadma, hu mavriyach min hakotz katzeh ala katzeh atachton. So actually, the length of this Adam Kadmon comes from the very top of the challah, where the light originally entered in, up until it gets to the place where it stops, which again, as we said before, gives you a concept of up and down, high and low. So he says, Pirish al ad lo ad klad. I don't know what the Shin Mem Nun stands for. Somebody added that in, but it doesn't ring a bell to me, and I have to try to see if I can find what it is. So he said, so at any rate, he says it runs through the whole length of the challah as far as the kav goes. So let me read it again. He says, Hu mavrich min hakatzeh elyon hakatzeh hatachton. B'kol challah atzilus anizkert. So it goes from one end of the challah as far as it could go, as we mentioned. So in this man, they have all of the universe, in this Adam Kadmon, everything that we're going to discuss in spirituality and reaching towards this great light of the Ein Sof, trying to bring it closer to us in perfection, all of that is going to be contained or relative to this Adam Kadmon. Shedivar l'kaman b'ez Hashem, we are going to be explaining all of that. Now, if we want to talk about the nature of what's inside of this man, again, the Rav says we have no permission to deal with this at all. But what we are going to talk about is what distances itself out from this, what surrounds him. Again, the concept of netzel, ma'atzel, what is moved out from him. Because of the fact that the light of the Ein Sof is so tremendously powerful. The ability of the Netzalim, of those things which are those worlds, those spheros, that are in relationship to this Adam Kadmon, if they were to get the light without the Adam Kadmon, they wouldn't have the ability to exist. We don't really have anything corresponding to it. But in itself, we have no real appreciation of what it could do, but we know that the light comes out from it. So that light which comes out of it, because there are openings. There are windows in these. What are these windows? So the beginning of these words, Shehem Aznayim, they are the ears. Va'einayim, HaChotem, which is the eyes, and the Chotem, which is the nose and the pen, and the mouth. We're going to go through all of this. So commotion, Yivar Lamata Ve'ezazai, Kale. So this is going to be the substance of the Otzrot Chaim, and all that we're going to be dealing with, of all these different things, and the different aspects that they represent in relationship. So let's look at number Kaf Gimel. I think that's where we were. Kaf Gimel. Light print. It says, Ak omed ba'orech kol hachalol shalat tzimtzum, the whole place, the chalol, which was the original tzimtzum, the contraction of light. B'zekav anasa b'kol chalol atzilus, and then what he wants to say is that all of the chalol of atzilus, of all those things, which were distance out, so were creating distance. When a makom ha'elyon shechut or ein sof maskil lehikones bo. So now we're talking about this ak, and he begins for the place where it originally came into this chalo. Al toch hachalo, and into the chalo. Ad lamata shulchan makom shechut mistayim nispashet, until it goes down, until we find the place where the chut stops. But he wants to add in, he wants you to understand again, as we said before, that it doesn't go all the way through to the bottom of the challah, because if it did, it would connect the bottom and the top. There would be no concept of bottom and top anymore, no concept of movement anymore, because everything that would be inside of that line would now be Ein Sof from the inside and the outside of the challah. It doesn't really reach mamish to the bottom end of the challah, so that you wouldn't nullify the tzimtzum, which allows it to be a space. Tzimtzum is finishing up that idea. And what will happen is, if you connect all of them, then the light will eventually shine all the way through the chalal, and there won't be any chalal at all. The vision is boil the ale. We already went through that idea. Now in Ak, Adam Kadmon, the chlalim kol olomos, inside of Ak, all the olomos that we will be dealing with, some of the names of the olomos, as we could say that Ak is an olam, but then we're going to get to the olam akudim. There's going to be nikudim, there's going to be berudim, and then there's going to be the olam atikun. So these universes, all of them have many moving parts, all of different sizes and different things which are going on now, but we have to get through all of that. So that through the lights that are going to come out of Ak, we're going to examine Ak physically. Start looking at his eyes and his ears and his nose and his mouth. We're going to start looking at his tibor, and we're going to start looking at his feet, his toenails, and all the different, his nails, and so on and so forth. We're going to start looking at Ak really carefully. So then we're going to see how it is that all the Olamos Abiyah, Malvishim, Al Ak, how they all cover over Ak. So let's go to the next piece of light print and Kaf Dalet. It said, if we're talking about what's inside of Ak, or Ein Sof, which is the light, this thread of which is, what could it be, of this endlessness, Hamislavish ba'ak, which is clothed inside of Ak, Kaneshama tocha guf, it's like a neshama inside your neshama, my neshama, inside of our bodies. Einan rishayim l'daber imenu. We don't talk about this chut of the Ein Sof. We know it's there. That's all. So a klal machmas rom v'godol ma'alas ha'ora, because the light is so unbelievably fine or so high, unbelievable, that we're not able to come near to it. But the light that's inside of Ak shines out anyway. So Ak is like a filter for the light. There's different openings. So now once the light comes out through Ak, because Ak acts as a filter to diminish the amount of light, so as the light comes out through Ak, then we're going to deal with those lights that come out from Ak. Because as the thread, the light of the Ein Sof is clothed inside of Ak, Azayidei came, so there, because of this, or through this agency, Mismayata or Hagodol, what happens is that it limits the amount, this tremendous amount of light of the Ein Sof that's coming out. So then, therefore, those things which are more tachton, and what does he mean by tachton? It means it's hitzoni, they're outside, further away. They're down below the level of the feet of Ak, different kinds of places, which we will discuss it because Ak is an anatomical feature. Let's go to the light print on this very last one, and we'll conclude with that, and we'll be done with the shiur. This is the aura Ein Sof of Benimeh HaMelubet B'Soch Ak. So that light, which is inside of Ak, Yotze Derek and the Kovim to Ak, they go through the openings in Ak. Shehem Nikvei Aznayim, and now he says it again. He says they are the holes for the eye sockets. V'anayim, of the ears, the ear hole, the anayim, the eye sockets. Ha'chotim v'rapeh, and so we have in the head. These are all in the head. And there's also a already some reality that's able to receive and to accept these light. The kalim, other kinds of kalim, they're going to be able to receive this light. After they come out of this masak, which is masak is a word for a screen or a filter, after it comes out of ak, because ak filters it. But before they come out of ak, after the kavlam, so there's no ability, nothing can reach them, nothing can be received by them, and there's no possibility of being able to understand them. And that is the conclusion of Shaar Haigulim. Any questions or any comments? Thanks.